Hello, friends, and welcome to You'll Probably Agree. And today I have a couple old friends, or three friends, on that I haven't had on for a while. Don Shanahan from Film Obsessive and Every Movie Has a Lesson, and Al and Linda Lerner from Movies and Shakers. And today we're here to talk about Toy Story 5. Yes, they
Mhm.
made another Toy Story. And we're not just talking about Toy Story 5, but the whole legacy. But I figured everyone's going to wonder what we're thinking about 5 because it hasn't come out yet. It's coming out, I think, Friday or Juneteenth. So,
Mhm.
there'll be a lot of high parents in the theater. So, before we start, I think I'll start with Al and Linda, then I'll go to Don. What were your guys' thought on Toy Story 5? Did it give you the same feelings as Toy Story 4, negative, positive, or otherwise?
Well, I thought that Pixar got its mojo back a little bit.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of characters. It might be a little confusing for kids who didn't see the first ones, and all of a sudden there's so many characters. But the story and the emotions, I think, were there.
Yeah, the other thing is that Pixar isn't trying to sugarcoat a lot of their characters. Woody has a bald spot and a paunch.
Hmm.
Bonnie Joan Cusack sounds like Joan Cusack. She's not trying to raise her voice and be Mickey Mouse. She's
Yeah.
she's got kind of that cigarette voice to her now, and
Yeah.
and more power to him. I think it adds to the texture of the movie that these are animated characters, but you can relate to them almost as real people.
Well, and Buzz and Woody have a little older voice too, a little bit more going on there.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Don, what were your thoughts on Toy Story 5? Did you
Um,
did you get
yeah,
love for it opposing to last time
I
around
did.
when you reviewed it? Yeah.
Compared to last time around, is one of those very few negative guys on Rotten Tomatoes for four. The word I harped about four was worthwhile, and whether or not
Hmm.
the story that in hand or the lessons you want to teach in the movie were worthwhile for undoing what was one of the most perfect endings you could ever ask for, which was Toy
Yeah.
Story 3. It's like,
Yeah.
if you're going to unlock the door and reopen what you're doing, you better have a worthwhile story to tell. And sorry, a vacation in an antique store was not a worthwhile story to tell. And Woody joining the Peace Corps of sorts to go with his girlfriend on in overseas to the Carney land was not worth undoing Toy Story 3. This one was, I think they had the right lesson for the right time, the right premise for the right kind of era that we're in. And like Linda and Al said, they kind of found their humor and their mojo and their brevity back. Like, this movie was a lot of fun versus a creepy girl in a baby carriage in Toy Story 4, and the moroseness of Independence, where this was, you hear it from the characters, like they remember how to be creative and be silly. And I think the movie loosened up a little bit, and like Al said, in doing so without harping too many things while still having a solid thing to say, this became more worthwhile, and it was nice to come back.
Yeah.
And relevant.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Yeah. I
now? What do you
really
think, Mike? Come on,
well.
you're a
I
host
I
of show
like.
here.
Here's the thing. I think they could have gone from Toy Story because obviously they're going to go to infinity and beyond with countless
Uh,
sequels
we're getting a
of
lot
Toy
here. Yeah.
Story movies,
Yeah.
and for Toy Story 4, when I first saw it, I'm like, oh wow, there's an intention, there's a purpose to it. But then when I thought about it, I just thought the movie was unnecessarily cruel, because they rip out Woody's voice box and then they make him a lost toy so he can
Mhm.
rekindle an
Mhm.
old friendship that was, also a little romantic. You saw like the end of Toy Story 1. And then Toy Story 5 comes along, and I thought there's going to be like this big emotional reunion with Woody. And instead, they're just, and this is in the trailer, so not really spoiling anything.
Mhm.
Uh,
Right.
they're like on the little walkie talkie that apparently has like a 50-mile radius.
Right.
And he's just talking to Bonnie, like, oh, hey, Bonnie, what's up? How are things going? And then he just shows up. I'm like, okay, so what was the point of Toy Story 4 then if he was just going to
Right.
randomly show up again? Like, the whole, I guess people probably thought the same way we did, where it's like, yeah, a lost toy is not exactly what we wanted. Like, we don't want the creators of Toy Story 4 to say, hey, guys, time to grow up. here's, it's time to let go of your toys. And I'm like, we know that. You told us that in Toy Story 3
Yeah.
when Andy went off to college, and instead of leaving Woody with him at college, he gives it to Bonnie. But this movie I like for two particular reasons. One, I think it's important for kids to see. I remember I took my nephew to the movie, and the whole plot of Toy Story 5 is that, there's a new device that's around that's making all the toys irrelevant. And I thought they were going to go with this angle like years ago when, like, the PS1 and N64 and all that were
Sure.
coming out. And I guess I was just a little far ahead of my time there, because by the time this one rolls around, all the kids are on their iPads or their Lily pads, or Lily pad
Mhm.
played by Greta Lee from Past Lives.
Mhm.
And all these kids in this movie, immediately when they get the Lily pad, which is like their own little iPad, they throw the toys away, and whatever imagination that they use or exercise or anything that requires ingenuity is tossed out for dopamine hits. And in some ways this movie could be argued like, oh, this is old man shouting at the clouds. But the nice thing that this movie does is it's not just totally saying that devices are terrible, because there's that whole bit where Jesse runs into the old devices, and you see, oh yeah, those black and white screens, those printers, everything that used to do one thing, they become old, just like how LilyPad is gonna probably become old faster than the toys will, because devices go old within a couple of years. And then the other thing I liked about the movie was the closure that it brought. And if you see Toy Story 2 again, like I did, oh man, it hits like Jesse's backstory way harder when you get to that. So it felt like this movie had more of a reason to exist, where it's not just about Buzz and Woody, because their stories are over. Let's make a story about the other toys, and it does that. And it still fits within the mold. Obviously, it could have ended after 3, but although it didn't, I think like this was a far better movie than 4. It still has its problems. Like, we've seen the same thing again and again and again, the same acrobatics, the same kind of like running timer, all those things. But this is still the gold standard, in my opinion, for animated movies, and one of the more moving animated films I've seen in a long time.
So we have toys versus tech.
Right.
And we have,
Yeah.
tech being the crack for kids.
Mhm.
And they do that, and they do that very well. All of a sudden, and just like most kids, we have the kid begging and begging, please, please, please. I don't have any friends unless I have LilyPad, and she gets LilyPad, and of course she becomes consumed. But without giving away a spoiler, I think that the script kind of pulls its punch at the end of the movie. And without giving it away, can we find a way for toys and tech and kids and toys and tech to coexist? Is it, is it going to be a kumbaya moment? And we do get that kind of kumbaya moment without going in more into it. And I think they kind of pulled the punch. And this is coming from a guy who worked for Apple for 15 years. I was the crack dealer for those kids, and I saw what it was doing to the kids. And I would always tell parents, if your kid isn't like 13 or 14, please do not buy this phone for your kid. Please don't do it. Or I'll just get him in the day I'll just get him the everything but the phone. We get the device, and
Get them something. Just get them something.
I saw a parent buy a kid, a 3-year-old, a phone, an iPhone. And I said, that phone is going to last for about maybe a minute and a half before the kid throws it on the floor and break. That was in the day when those phones would break when they hit the floor.
Or at least crash.
I'll just get him another one.
They're
I
only
also
cost like
think- I
hundreds
also
of
think that-
dollars.
Yeah. I
Sorry.
also
ahead,
think
Linda.
the message was there, but it didn't hit kids over the head or the
Yeah.
parents. It was softened to a point where it wasn't bad or insulting or anything like that, or warning.
I'm about 50% there with you two, where I think the kid perspective of it was done well. Like, I love that scene. Well, I don't love because it's hard to watch, but like Bonnie's, that when you get to observe Bonnie's embarrassment for being a kid who still plays with toys and had those friends pointed out. That's a very real moment that happens a lot.
Very
And to have
much.
Bonnie also have that stress about getting back on that device and at least finding the friends that are there and what am I going to do without it, and even just you have a couple of moments in this movie where she has the opportunity to kind of put that put that lily pad to the side and make a good choice, and it doesn't automatically happen in this rosy amazing way. So I think the kids are conflicted enough where the kids, because I'm a school teacher, my goodness, the kids I see, it is good crack and it's hard to really let it go, and I think the movie did a good job with the kid side of it. Where I'm with you, Al, is that they do let the parents off the hook pretty easily. Where you've got the two parents in this movie that don't monitor a group chat, don't put limits and times on things. And maybe that's a message that needed to be hit a little harder, where I know they finally get to it at the end, but it's a softened,
Yeah.
hey, pat on the back. Thanks for kind of, finding a good friend for your daughter. But at the same time, they don't do the next part of like, put the device away, wait till they're in 8th grade when they actually need one. Like it does let the parents off the hook softer than the children. And maybe that's enough. It's hard to like really rub a nose in it and still have a good time. So maybe that's the suggestion of it is enough that parents will get out of the movie, because the kids will be so enamored with it that's like I said, that's enough, but it's hard to tell.
How do you
it
deal
would've
with
been-
screens with your kids, Don? What's
I'm old
what's
school.
the ground rules?
We don't have them in my house, but I'm I guess like the parents in the movie that don't, where my kids have Gab watches, where it's location and limited texting just to know where they're at because they walk to school. And that's it. They turn them off during the building. There's no phones at their schools. My
Good.
daughter at the middle school, who's an 8th grader, is the closest to it's about that time. Where a lot of her classmates have phones. They're allowed to use them at lunch, but not during classes and passing periods. Maybe a little bit of passing periods that they sneak in their locker, but there's just not enough time. Where the keeping up with the Joneses is out there, but I have a daughter who's just not into it, doesn't care. I think she's been able to see from the
Interesting.
outside looking in that there's a lot of fake friendships and a lot of just looks to that versus genuineness to that. And I have a daughter who sees through it, which is great. My son, not so much. My son's in 5th grade going on 6th grade, where everyone has one but him. He's more of a gamer, he sees a lot of the friends that get to do those things. We have to really watch that kid is with his screen time. He's the only reason why we have passcodes on our televisions and stuff, because in any free moment he would jump on a device. So he's a little different case than my daughter. And but my wife and I, who's my wife's an early childhood teacher, I'm a school teacher, we've been really good about saying no. That they're not the kids with the iPads and the shopping carts going through Jewel. They don't need it to appease or soften themselves, or it's not a soother to them. Never has been, and that helps a ton. But they're getting older. Middle school's around the corner for both kids, where I think this is the summer at least my daughter gets a phone to just communicate more than with limited text and what a watch can do. But I know she won't use it. I mean, we've taught it enough. And we've seen the dangers of it enough from other peers and friends of ours that we've got good limits in place. But despite me trying to toot a horn here, it's been an uphill challenge. I feel like we're doing it right, but at the same time, we see the lack of different kind of social stuff with both kids. Like I have 2 kids that don't have a lot of friends. They're, especially my daughter, like she knows there's fake friends out there. She really hasn't found her people yet. But I don't think a device would have gave her people. So it's an okay thing. She's a genuine kid, and I'm appreciating of that.
Yeah. What have you seen anything, Al and Linda, with like any kids in your families, if they're young enough where they're always on the screen, or do their parents
Oh, yeah.
limit
Oh
them?
yeah,
We have
grandkids
talk about
who
grandkids.
are, one just turned 5, the other one going to turn 8 in next month.
Mm-hmm.
And when we do FaceTime with them, they live away. When we do FaceTime, it's hard to get them off the screens, that screen, to come to our screen.
Gotcha.
Anytime,
Wow.
anytime that they're around an iPad, they are.
Glued.
That's why I call it crack. It's like
Yes.
gimme, and they have to
Glued.
fight really hard to get them off the iPads as well. But nothing bothers me more these
Mm.
days than being in a restaurant
Yes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
seeing the parents on the phones and the kids on the iPads.
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing in the restaurant in the first place?
Yeah.
Why just eat in the car?
Yeah.
There's so many social gatherings I go to where everyone is just like this. And I'm like, you
Mhm.
drove here, you paid money to park to see people,
Mhm.
Exactly.
put the monolith down.
Exactly.
You don't need it.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's
but-
hard.
Well,
Um,
and you see them not talking to each other. Period.
yeah.
There is no conversation.
yeah.
Yeah. And
I
there was
work at a
great-
school. I work at a school where the phone is off and away 8 to 3 the whole day. No lockers, no lunches, no sneak a look. And you can tell which kids are ticking time bombs about just the withdrawal of like, I need to see something, I need to talk to something. Like it
Yeah.
forces social action, and the lunches are great and the conversations in the classroom are great, but you can tell which kids are just edging for it and which ones can have been able to get away from it. And this isn't the hardest thing in the world for me to let go of. But man,
Oh, can I stop for just a second? I'd like to talk to our audience right now. Everything we're
Yes.
talking about is for another time. We want you to spend as much time with your screen as possible for this podcast.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Please subscribe
Yep,
to
yep.
YPA reviews.
hit the bell.
Do not look
Uh,
away.
Boom.
Yeah.
Please do not look away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please watch your screen and see this show. And then when you're done watching the screen and see this show, watch the screen and see Toy Story.
Yeah.
But no,
Mike,
yeah,
Mike,
there
what do
was
you
a
think?
great scene.
Do you think the movie goes hard enough on kids and parents the way Alan and Linda are talking about?
I think so, because the funniest thing is I turned to my nephew during the movie and I loved this scene. Like there's a scene where like Bonnie and all the kids are together in a basement and they're
Mhm.
just staring at the screens
Yeah.
and the lights are off. And then there's like another shot where Bonnie's looking at her screen and everything around her just goes, and then it's just the screen. And I just turned to him and I said, does that look familiar? And he's like, no. And I'm like, all right. But the thing is, he does limit his screen time because his parents limit it with him. Having
Yeah.
said that, I am guilty, and I did buy him a Nintendo Switch 2 for Christmas. But and then bring over video games for him. But
That's a shade different, though.
yeah.
At least a little bit. But it all adds up, I guess.
Yeah,
Well-
but like luckily, like we there is a timer where it's like you got to stop using it at a certain period of time. But it's great because it makes kids self-conscious that they're on the devices. But it's
Totally.
also not saying that devices are terrible, because like I said earlier, you have the older devices mixing with the new device,
Mhm.
and then you have the whole ending with the futuristic quote unquote toy where it syncs up to everyone's smartphones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
I thought yeah. Oh, go ahead.
oh no, that was pretty much it. Like, I liked how it did that, but it wasn't like soapboxing or anything. So
There you
kids
go.
can watch it and
Put it
not
on
be
camera.
like, I don't do that. Yeah.
Well, the thing that I thought was handled pretty well was the peer pressure.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
Definitely.
the kid, she's new to this and is tentative and doesn't know how to do it, and there are other kids are kind of pushing her to do that. So
Mhm.
it's kind of interesting. That
Yeah.
what do you think of that, Don? Because you
Yeah.
see peer pressure in the schools
A
all
lot.
the time.
I do. And I really think the movie nailed it. Like not just those those two blind little neighbors that didn't want to play and they just kind of ran to the device, but like that basement scene, or the fact that she brought toys over to a sleepover, like and then the way Lilypad and just the way the device can kind of lend to the peer pressure. The ugliest things I see at my school, and it's become an ugly thing, is the group chats, the just untethered conversations of kids where everyone's chiming in. There's that internet courage of I can say anything I want because it's my thumbs and not in person, even though they know each other and they're going to see each other the next day at school. Like the group chats are worse than any gamer device I've got on any iPad or Lilypad. It's the group chat is the worst.
Well, this
Yeah,
is the start
snap-
of cyberbullying. That's where
It's
the bullying
hugely-
comes from.
Hugely.
Oh yeah. Like
the
when
movie
they
gets that a lot.
Yeah, when they introduced like Xbox Live to me when I was a kid,
Yeah.
dude, just like the amount of like racial slurs and like
Mhm.
inappropriate, like now I think they try to censor that, but they still can't. But yeah,
Yeah.
that was kind of the beginning of it. And yeah, once they introduced the iPhone, that was it for
Mhm.
everything. But no, I like how this movie was conscious of what's going on today, but at the same time, it's not grandstanding. And
No.
yeah, the whole closure that it gives to
Mhm.
one of its
Sure.
characters, I thought, oh, this is beautiful. Like it kind of
It
makes
sure
you
was.
rewatch one of the movies and appreciate it a
Mhm.
lot more. But I think because we got some other Toy Stories to talk about here,
Mhm.
let's jump back to Toy Story 1 back in 1995. Now, Toy Story 1 was a revolutionary picture because animated movies, at least popular ones up to that point from Disney and most of the other major studios, they were all period pieces and they are all musicals. And
Mhm.
here was Toy Story. It was contemporary, it wasn't a musical, and it was 3D animated. And when that came out, not only was it the mixture of those three elements that made audiences love it, but it was the message. It came from a kid's mind. John Lasseter was very much a kid. Outside of what he did years later, now he's with Skydance, but that's a whole other story.
Mhm.
But he had that relationship with the audience that we could look at it. There's something that connects the audience directly to their toys, because whenever you think of your toys, it brings you to your childhood and you get very sentimental thinking about it. And
Mhm.
the first one, it's probably the lightest one of all four of them.
Easily.
Yeah, because the first one, it wasn't about abandonment, it wasn't about what happens when Andy doesn't want me anymore.
No.
It was about Buzz Lightyear realizing he's actually a toy and not a space ranger, and kind of coming to terms with his own existence. And then it was about Woody letting go of his ego.
Mhm.
And when you put those kind of themes together to one movie, it worked beautifully. The 3D animation still looks pretty good. And yeah, I think it's a timeless classic that
I have to say,
uh,
however,
yeah.
that Toy Story 5 kind of brings that Buzz arc around full
Yeah.
circle
Yes.
as well.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
In a very entertaining way, with shall we say, Buzz myriad buzzes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. At one point I got confused, but then I realized that
Uh-oh.
You're sneaky, man.
yeah, I got my
No
little
fun
Woody
for
done.
you.
Yeah. Do you want to do Woody done? It's okay.
I'll get him.
Get yourself famous early. But yeah, no, it was funny because like when they had like the whole flying buzz thing in the new one, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, wait a minute. How many functions are they adding to the? And then I realized it was actually like the newer dolls. But
Mhm.
yeah, they kind of made like, oh yeah, Buzz doesn't get outdated either. Is
But
Right.
no, but it was Buzz 1.0 didn't have the features.
No.
Yeah.
Didn't have
yeah.
all those upgrades, which was a nice kind of nod
Yeah.
to technology as well.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. He doesn't have all the like iPhone syncing and all that the newest Buzz does. But yeah, I
No
mean the
Bluetooth.
first one I've seen religiously. I own all three of the originals on physical media. So I
Same.
got
Same.
the first
Ah.
one,
Mhm.
and then the second one on Blu-ray, and then the third one on 4K.
There you go.
But
There you
Wow.
go.
yeah, when you watch this movie, I mean, the funniest thing is that you had characters like Sid, where they're like, "Oh, he's horrible. He abuses toys," but like they were saying in some of the extra features I watched way back, like we've all done that
Oh
with our
gosh, yes.
toys.
Yeah.
Like with my old Woody doll, or even better, I'll give you a better example. I had a uncle of mine who served in World War II as a pilot, and he had these model airplanes for me to build. And then he's like, "Okay, be very careful. Don't play with these too much." And the first thing I did when he was gone is I picked them up and pretended they got shot down, and I threw them as hard as I could against the wall. And so, like, those
Yep.
are the things I did. But I don't know what were your thoughts on Toy Story, and what toys did you have growing up? What were your
We got two
treatment?
different generations here. You first,
Yeah.
Alan, Linda.
Well, toys that I had, I remember having a Howdy Doody string puppet. I had
Yeah.
an actual Howdy Doody string
Sure.
puppet. I
Wow.
also had a 6-shooter cap gun
There you go.
Yeah.
That I have since refused.
Probably don't pass that one to the grandkid.
I want that gun to be regulated.
Right.
But what do you have?
I had mostly, I think, dolls. My dad was in the toy business, and
Oh,
I ended
wow.
up being a toy demonstrator for
Well, son of a
him.
gun.
So, and he never got credit for it, but he actually invented GI Joe at one point. He was involved with that, and he did a lot of dolls and stuffed animals. And I ended up in New York, when I got older, being a toy demonstrator and
Mhm.
demonstrating all kinds of pull toys. There were a lot of pull toys where they talked and that kind of
Yeah.
thing,
Perfect.
and babies that cried, and I liked puzzles. I liked puzzles and games when I was young.
Yeah.
The next generation up for me, I was in the right sweet spot of the 1980s where everything was an action figure, and it was
Yeah.
the glorious time to be alive. So I think my first love, right around 5 or 6, was He-Man. Masters of the Universe, those were great.
Sorry about the movie.
Yeah, the old movie in '87 is pretty rough. The new one I just saw today for the first time was great. But no, I was in that sweet spot of like He-Man, wrestling, Ninja Turtles. By the
Yeah.
time I got a little too old, like Bonnie's getting old, like 10 or 11, it was like Power Rangers. But then you can kind of see like Pokemon and cards are showing up where it got you off toys, and then video games show up, and then you lose the tactile for the tech. So yeah, He-Man was my go-to back in the day.
Yeah, for me it was all the comic book stuff because like Fox Kids was big when I was a
Oh
kid.
yeah, there you go.
So
Kids,
I
huh?
had like the X-Men cartoon action figures. I had like the whole X-Men base,
Oh,
and so I
nice.
had like Wolverine and Sabretooth and Beast and Professor X, all of them. And that was like my main thing. I had Ninja Turtles toys. The Ghostbusters toys were really cool
There you go.
because I would have like the trap that would open up and everything. And the saddest thing is I'll never forget when I came back from college one day and to see my parents, and I said, "Hey, where are all those, X-Men toys and all that?" And they went, "Oh, we sold that." And it was like I felt like I lost someone when they told me
Oh,
that they
yeah.
got rid of it. It's like I wasn't gonna play with them, but I could have given them to someone to play with.
Yeah.
But the most
Pretty
beautiful thing is, and I mean, I is that one of my toys growing up was also Toy Story, and Burger
Mm.
King for a time had these toys that were almost similar to the ones from the movie, and I still have one today that I give
How
to
about
my
that? Look at
kids, and
that.
I keep that in my
Wow.
house. Yeah,
That was a
it's
Burger King toy?
yeah, from 1997, 2 years
Son of a
after
gun.
the
No
original
kidding.
came out during a VHS promo.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, my dog would always grab Woody, or not my dog, my rabbit at the time when I was a little kid. He'd grab Woody by the hand and drag him across the floor, and you'd hear his boots going. Can I make him clank? Like,
There you go.
clank. Yeah, against the floor. But yeah, like this guy was special. And when I showed him and of course, one Christmas I bought my niece and nephew, or my nephew, Buzz and Woody,
Perfect.
one Christmas. And yeah, it's like, I think those toys are great because Toy Story is like the perfect property for Disney. It's a movie
yeah.
about toys, but it's also like the pinnacle of emotional animation, I guess you could say. So something
Mhm.
that connect to kids and adults, but it's never dumb. It's not like Minions or something like that.
Yeah,
And
I can't stand Minions. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to that screening. I don't care. Like, I know at one point that I like, even if like any of my nieces or nephews want to go, I'm gonna be like, no. You see Toy Story, you don't see Minions.
Mhm. You wait for Peacock for that one, kid. Yeah, same.
Yeah, exactly. But when you guys saw Toy Story, what were your thoughts on it when it came out?
It missed
Oh.
me because I was like 14, so like I wasn't at that age where like, oh, let me see this Disney movie. I was in high school
Yeah.
where cooler things were out there. I probably didn't see the movie till, oh man, it took years. Probably till I was a teacher, probably in the early 2000s. So easily 10 years after it came out, where I'm like, oh, this is what all the fuss is about. Because I think Toy Story 2 came and went, same thing, 1999. Wrong age to see that. I was 20. I wasn't going to go see that. Yeah, it took becoming a teacher where like we need to throw a movie on right now, Don. Well, you know, occupy the kids on rolling the cart day, you know. So
Yeah.
I don't have a
Yeah,
good
I
history
mean,
with it. Yeah.
we were at that point where our kids were young, where they were still just post toddler, and they're actually 95, they're older, so they were in that sweet spot for first movies and going there, and it was you had to go.
But
Yeah,
I don't remember
have-
them wanting any of the figures or any of the dolls or anything. I
Okay.
don't, they liked the movie and they liked the story and stuff, but I don't think they were so enamored that they wanted anything physical with them.
I'm always
It's-
bemused by merch, by this
Yeah.
need to have something with the name of a property on it all the time.
Yeah.
I don't quite understand the need to have that
I mean,
tactile connection to a property but I guess
I mean, I know why. It's revenue.
Well,
stream.
yeah,
I mean,
I
that's-
get that, but no, it can be overdone very quickly, and maybe that's the transition to 2 is where you have now the tactile is like collector level stuff, where like I go to the toy aisle now at Walmart and Target, and it's action figures are $20-$25 in there. People don't take them out of the box, and I'm like, why? It's collectory stuff, and we go to the cons. We've done some of the movie stuff where we go to C2E2 and Wizard World, and it's a whole other black market of stuff that's beyond me. Like I open them up and I play with them. I don't keep them in the box. So
Yeah, toys are meant to be played with. I mean, it's weird.
Yeah.
Ever since I saw Toy Story, it made me think of toys differently. Like,
Mhm.
I know it's a fairy tale. I know they don't really come back to life. But at the same time, I'm like guilty because I'm looking at my shelf and I'm looking at toys that weren't played with. And I'm like, oh, I should play with those, as a kid, of
Mhm.
course. And then now as an adult, I still have some I have like 2 very expensive, like Buzz and Woody dolls from like when Toy Story 3 came out that are like almost exact replicas. And I think those deserve to be given to my family rather than me
Sure.
playing with them. Unfortunately, I gave it to
Jesse
them
Duck.
earlier and they don't want it, but more for me.
Yeah, well.
But when you draw that connection, I think, to the movie and to the toy, because the movie, it's like Star Wars. You want all
Yeah.
the cool stuff from the movie. The only problem is when a movie doesn't have a good story and you don't really care that much, you don't care about the toys, even if you're a little kid.
Mhm.
Like I took, I took kids to see Mario Galaxy. They don't
Mhm.
remember much about it.
No.
I take them to see Toy Story 5, and they said that was my favoriteest movie ever. And I said, good,
Interesting.
you have good taste.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
I,
there's something so deep and resonant with Toy Story that really sunk in with Toy Story 2 when they really started to dive into the whole what if nobody cares about me, because the whole idea of abandonment with toys, like, yes, that is something kids can relate to, like maybe not fitting in and all that. But when you become an adult, you really get it, because it's like, what happens when I don't
Mhm.
fit within a certain mold of society, or what happens when the people I love are gone or dead, because the toys are kind of a euphemism for that. And then
Sure.
it's like, what happens, when nobody, like, what if I'm alone? What if I end up dying with no one? It's like it brings back all these feelings, and it's relating to a little doll, because his owner is kind of like his parent, and it's like, what happens when my parent leaves me and I'm out
Mhm.
going out into the world? And it certainly brings in that message with Jesse's backstory. What were your
Definitely.
guys' thoughts? At Toy Story 2, I didn't like it better than the first one. I think because when it first came out, it was like 99, and I was seeing like The Matrix and all that. And I'm like, why do I want to see Toy Story? The first one was perfect. They can't do better. And boy, did they do better. And I didn't
Yeah.
notice or appreciate it until years later when I rewatched it. I'm like, wow,
Same.
this is really something. Yeah.
Well-
what are you guys' thoughts on TS2?
You first, you two.
Toy Story 2 was, for me, it was, let's just see if Pixar can continue to draw out that emotion. I mean, when
Mhm.
Pixar is on its game, and they lost it for a while. But you know, you
They
go
did.
back to Up, and go back to the
Mhm.
first Inside Out. When they connect with you deep inside, and for toys to do that, for a toys character to do that, it really is the epitome of making a human connection with animation. And that's
Mhm.
what Pixar does best when it's on its game.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that, Jesse was becoming stronger and something more, more of a prominent character, and I think that was good for girls at that time.
Definitely.
Yeah, and it was
Definitely.
pushed by John Lasseter's wife to
Yeah.
uh
I
include that
Right.
know
character. And a very good call by her. Yeah.
Yeah, in my reviews for years, I've called this phenomenon the Pixar punch, where it knows
Yeah.
exactly how to, the movies find a way because they have the same gear. So many Pixar movies are, I say it in my review, hurry, hustle, and run. They just go,
Yeah.
go, 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 go. There's deadlines, there's chases, there's pitfalls. Like we have to go, we have to go, we have to go, we have to go. But man, I tell you what, in the right situations with the right connection, like you're talking about, Al, they know how to slow down, have a moment, and have that moment just punch you in the heart, man, where it's
Yeah.
like no other. They've done it early in the movie, they've done it later in the movie. Obviously they normally save it for the end where they really get you. But
Mm.
yeah, the good ones have it. And you're right, they've lost their way with that for a good little bit here, or it's just not as good as other ones have been. I don't know if Toy Story 2 has the fullest of Pixar punches, but the inclusion of Jesse is important for those girls because it's a bit of a boys' club with Woody and
Absolutely.
Buzz, and I'm glad that they were able to expand that. And for 5 to just hand the leadership to Jesse most of the movie and have a girl be your girl, have you be your human, is a great transition right where it needed to be because the Andy story did enough in 3 movies to close that. And Bonnie taking over has worked a little bit. And I know 4 is the dalliance we call it, but like 5 finds the right wavelength with the right message, and then the female side of it with Jesse and Bonnie.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And yeah, I mean, the 2 was beautiful because you had Jesse's story and then you had Woody's backstory. Because
Yeah.
you're always like, where did Woody come from? Who is he?
He's very
And then
howdy
you
doody,
find
if
out,
anything.
yeah, because
Yeah.
the interesting thing they did with Toy Story 1 is that, it was showing kind of like a transition between generations where, the previous
Yeah.
generations, their main thing on television and in movies was the Western.
Yeah.
You would have the cowboys and the, all that stuff. And then eventually, I think probably by 77, I'm guessing, it became the space stuff. And it was, or even before 77, it was like during the moon landing and all
Lost
that.
in Space. Yeah, all the
Yeah.
Apollo stuff brought it out. Lost in
Yeah.
Space. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like Woody's kind of like, he's kind of lame when you look about it. He has like a yodeling person and a snake in his boot. Then you have Buzz Lightyear who flies around and shoots lasers and fights aliens. Like, dude, that's way cooler. But in this one, you find out where Woody comes from, and it introduced this weird fan theory I had because
Okay.
everyone's like, they never talk about, and this is a depressing theory and it's probably wrong, but they always talk about how Andy's mom doesn't have, there's no Andy's
single mom.
dad.
Yeah, single mom.
And
Yeah.
I think what it is I think Woody means a lot to Andy because at one point before his dad passed away, he gave Andy Woody. So Woody is a connection to his father, which is why in Toy Story 3, when he's giving him to Bonnie and she's about to grab him, and he kind of yanks him away for a bit. He's thinking about dad,
I think
but
so.
yeah, like that's kind of the connection toys have to people.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Especially with the big emotional moments in 5, where you're like, wow, a toy meant that much. Like that's some Arrested Development stuff, but I guess it,
Yeah.
But let's go
much
back
of
to 5 now. You're talking about the generations of toys and
Yeah.
moving on. Here we have the generations of tech. We kind of touched on that before. All of that old tech in the drawer that comes back to life, and Conan O'Brien playing Smarty Pants, the piece of tech that teaches potty training, is again that going kind of generation and paying homage to those first ancient pieces of kind of primitive tech that still have use and can still participate and can still help. So that
Definitely.
was, and also they got a chance for Conan O'Brien to do every potty joke that
Oh, yeah.
that,
He gets
that
the best
is in his
zingers.
repertoire.
Oh, steals the movie. You know, he's easily the stick that serves a drink in the movie. So it's
Yep.
yeah, a lot of fun. But
Yeah.
and that's the thing. Like, if 4 wasn't here, and I'll keep crapping on 4, but if 4 wasn't here, and Toy Story 5 was a legacy sequel 16 years after Toy Story 3, that would feel really good to, like, if you're going to reopen things, you reopen them with Bonnie years later. Woody's gone because you really don't need Woody in the movie. And yeah, it's this the eras of tech versus the and obviously the message we've talked about of like tech dependence now. It fits the time in the era where it I think the impact would be even greater if 4 wasn't here 7 years ago to kind of get in the way.
Yeah,
Because
because
4 feels like 2.5. Like 4 would be a perfect what, you know, Andy's getting up there in age, you know, it would be okay if we lost Woody for a while with his little trip to Bo Peep's land stuff. Like, if Toy Story 4 was Toy Story 2.5, we wouldn't bat an eye because everyone would be back together in time for 3 for the big cathartic ending. And then your legacy sequel can be, look what tech has done now, years later, you know?
Yeah, I agree with that because we kind of know that he's dropped off to Bonnie and, you know, she has like this whole new toy family. Like, continuing where the next chapter was, like, it felt almost like a Disney Plus special. Like, they're gonna go
definitely.
off into a road trip and then Woody's gonna be emotionally and physically abused and then say goodbye to his friends. And then the movie ends. Grow up, kids. Like,
Yeah.
wow, thanks for that message, Pixar. Like, that
Well-
felt great. Yeah, that
Yeah.
movie just made me feel horrible.
It
But
was rough.
having moved on,
and then tropes wise, like, we have the same vehicle takeover thing that we've seen in
Yeah.
2, we've seen in Finding Dory, we saw in Toy Story 4. Like, they do the toys take over driving human things. We've seen too many times. Like, stop with that trope, you know? It just, if I know we keep harping on 4, but it just feels out of place.
that's because there was
7
the
writers,
greatness.
you know. To me, that's the thing. Toy Story 3, you couldn't have asked for a perfect, because that was 11 years after Toy Story 2. You felt like you've had the passage of time.
Yep.
It's the most perfect transition of what do you do when you get older. Like, it's the natural ending to the story, and they served it so perfectly with the right beats from where mom's coming from, where Andy's coming from, where the toys are coming from. The idea of daycare being a second life, like, that's no shame in that, you know. Like, it did not a missing beat in 3, which is why 4 and 5 feel so weird sometimes.
Yeah, because 3 was like the perfect bookend. And I mean, there's multiple reasons why, but one thing I really have to give Pixar and Disney credit for to this day is that they didn't keep Andy 10 years old forever or have him go from 10 to
This
12
isn't The
or
Simpsons
something.
where they're in 5th grade for life for 30 years, you know.
Yeah, it's like Andy
We
grew up.
progress.
Yeah, exactly. Because we could have Toy Story 5 and Andy could be 11 years old in Toy Story 5, and it would be the same old boring
What
trash.
if Toy Story 5
Or turn it into Up.
Yeah.
How long since well, no, what if Toy Story 5 was Andy's 18, 17 when we leave him in 2010, right? And let's see, 16 years later, he's a parent. You know, seeing Bonnie as a teenager, having finished her journey, he picks up those little toys and gives them to his son, like, or his daughter, whoever it would be. Like, adult Andy would be a fun Toy Story 5 story if we ever got there with the passage of time. But it's okay. Because I mean, I'm almost think I know we had Bonnie as a soon-to-be kindergartner in 4. No, in soon-to-be kindergartner in 3. She's like, oh no, kindergartner in 4. She's like a first grader, 8-year-old, 3, maybe third grader in, like, maybe there's not enough time between 4 and 5, really, you know, if we're playing that card of things. I don't know.
And Toy Story 2 came out like 5 years after 1, so they could kind of get away with Andy
Keeping him
being
young.
the same
That was
age.
cool.
Yeah,
That
like
worked fine.
they could have milked it to death. And the one thing I really love about 3 is, like, I don't know how Disney allowed some of the things in the movie, because the movie, because as the director, I hope I'm saying his name right, like Lee Unkrich or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
yeah, he was saying how, you know, a Toy Story's life does not end when they're rejected or rotting in an attic. Their life
Mhm.
ends when they're in the middle of the dumpster, and then they're hurtling towards the fiery inferno that's going
Yeah.
to take their lives. Now, that movie went hard. Now, I remember when I
Mhm.
saw it in the
Yeah,
theater, when they got to that incinerator scene.
Oh man,
That was very
Ooh.
scary.
it was tense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tense
'cause
and
I'm an
scary
adult.
for little ones.
Yeah, I'm an
Mhm.
adult, and I'm just like wondering at a certain point, are they going to make it? Because the way
Yeah.
they designed that scene is great, where they never give up. The toys never give up.
No.
But here,
Yet they
they're out of
resign their
options.
own deaths. They hold
Yeah,
hands. They know it's that. They know this is it.
yeah,
It's amazing.
yeah. And then they
Yeah.
get saved by the claw, which is
Mhm.
very a great callback to the first film because they indebt their lives to Mr. Potato Head, and that's why they did it. But yeah, you go from that scene to kind of like two endings. You have the
You
fake
do.
out ending where Woody's saying goodbye to everybody,
Yeah.
and then he puts a little note on the box to be
Uh-huh.
dropped off to Bonnie, and then you get the real ending. And it
Mhm.
is so emotional. Like,
Wow.
even when I was watching it with the audio commentary, I was crying. And then when I rewatched the movie, I was crying because it makes us think about saying goodbye to the people that we love. Like, I was crying because I was
Yeah.
thinking about someone in my family who's sick right now and like
Mhm.
having to say goodbye to him. And I was also thinking about how we have a new generation of people where we just don't give our toys to, but we give our ideas to, and
Yes,
our
sir.
love to, and our care to.
Mm.
And that's why that movie hit on so many levels. And of course, it pans up to the sky, just like Andy's Clouds.
Mhm.
Perfect ending.
That's-
And then they made
it's-
more. But
I know.
having said that,
Yeah.
my God,
You're gonna
it's
make
one
me
of the
cry,
best endings I've
don't.
ever seen. Yeah. But what was it like when you guys saw Toy Story 3? I know I didn't
Oh.
cry at the time in the theater, but I could hear
Oh,
like sniffling around me.
I was
You
ugly
know?
crying.
Yeah.
Sniffling.
No, I was ugly
Yeah.
crying in the theater. It was because the roller coaster from the
Yeah.
fireball of the dump it to the because let's see, 2010 I was not a parent yet, but like
Yeah.
I'm a product of divorce where like toys were my father figures plenty. I'm not maybe not to the Andy level, but like they meant something.
Yeah.
That was my escape was toys. My escape was going downstairs away from where mom and dad were arguing. So like to give them up, I felt that completely. But at the same time, as a teacher, just knowing that there's a good 17-year-old kid there who's doing the noble gesture of passing something on because people pass things on to me. I completely felt that moment, every single iota of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was that moment, you know, watching that moment that the incinerator scene where it occurred to me. I mean, we're watching
Mm.
a Holocaust
Mm.
tale,
Yeah.
and
Not
I
good.
don't know if the writers actually thought of that as they were
Yeah.
doing it, but there's a history, you know, there's a lesson, and there's a history lesson there. You can't let things you love, things you respect, things that you should honor, you can't let them go into the furnace. You can't let
Right.
them go
No.
into the gas chambers.
Yeah. You have to
Mhm.
give them to someone you love, you know,
Yeah.
instead of or give them to charity or
I think
something.
Give them
the
to someone who can use them.
Yeah.
right.
So here,
And
so
and
Play with
my wife and I give everything away. Like we donate to charity. We
True.
put toys out for things. I leave movies in a box in my lawn.
Yeah.
Like we've done that. My kids have my toys. You know, like we do that. And like we watched Toy Story 3 for the first time with my two kids after 5. We were like, let's go rewatch the series if you don't remember them. You know, and they're like, you could tell my son's like, I can't wait to give my toys away to somebody who needs them. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, not right now because you still
Yeah.
love him, but like, because he's a toy playing kid. My basement's full of Legos and dinosaurs and toys where he is a kid who plays. He's the real deal. He's Bonnie. But he's 11 going on 12 where it won't be forever. But I think he knows either path is possible, that he's going to box him up and give him to his kids when he's older, or he knows he's going to find his Bonnie to give him to. He's a kid who's pointing in the right direction. I love that.
Yeah. I think
So
I saw
let-
that.
We've saved a
sorry.
lot of toys too to give to
Sure.
relatives, but also just as giveaway because there's a lot of use, and a lot of the kids who get them haven't seen anything like that before, and they
Exactly.
get really into it.
Yeah. I have a nerdiest kid who like Mike. I had 90s X-Men figures, and he
Yeah.
now that X-Men 97 was, I mean, let me show you the cartoon kid, and now that X-Men 97 is having its little revival, he's like
Yeah.
super fan now. So like, oh, I've created a monster.
There
and
you
it's a
go.
good thing. Yeah.
Time to go on eBay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And buy those old figures, man. Ah,
So if this movie makes a ton of money,
And it will.
as it will,
Yeah.
does it need does Pixar need to
Ooh.
go to this well again? And
Oh.
my feeling is that Pixar is whatever they're working on now. If whatever they come up with next doesn't work, you can be damn sure they're going to go back. They're going to go back here.
Yeah.
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 Well,
Boy, that's a
no
good
matter
question.
if it's
Mike,
good
you
or
go first.
bad, they'll keep making them. As
Mhm.
long as they keep making money.
Yeah.
And these films have the benefit of getting incredibly good reviews, and they also have the benefit of the toyeticness of it. And of
Mhm.
course, they have like little like Toy Story theme parks like in Disneyland.
Exactly.
So like they already are developing Toy Story 6 and 7. They already said they are.
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah.
yeah.
I hope they put some years between them. Like this, I know I say Toy Story 4 gets in the way, but it's still 7 years since the last
Mhm.
Toy Story 4, where it's not these Fast and Furious minion level carnivals where there's a movie
Yeah.
every 2 years and it wears out its welcome. I hope they keep making these events and special and spacing between them. Now, how long you can do that with a 74-year-old Tom Hanks, and I don't know how old Tim Allen is, but in a semi-retired Joan Cusack, like I don't know how long you can go before you need to, reboot the well a little bit with younger characters and actors. I know Toy Story 4 was trying that a little bit because you got Key and Peele in there, you got Keanu Reeves in there, and you went a generation younger, but those guys aren't exactly sticking around. So Jodie Benson as Barbie is 60-something years old herself. So like, I don't know
Well,
where you go.
Linda
And I just
just
said you've got an AI out there now. You don't know
Yeah.
what they
That's
can
the
do.
weird thing.
you can
Or
make
you can
Tom
keep the
Hanks
story.
any age you want right
Yeah.
now.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I don't think they'll go with AI. I think they'll go with recasting because, like, they did because Jim Varney passed away.
It's true.
The
Don
dude from
Rickles
Cheers,
passed
who was the
away.
mailman,
Yeah.
passed
No,
away.
Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Don Rickles passed away.
Yeah.
George Costanza's mom passed away.
Yeah.
But
But it's harder when they're icons.
Yeah.
Like when it's Hanks
Yeah.
and Allen, those are bigger people to replace, and I know AI can do it.
I think they'll
It'd be a challenge.
recast, but it'll
Yeah.
be hard. It'll be really hard because you have to emulate their voice, and at
Mhm.
a certain point, you can only have someone impersonate so much on a computer.
Yeah.
It's still not perfect. I will say the AI voice they did with Darth Vader in Kenobi because they mixed it with James Earl Jones.
Yeah.
That sounded fantastic. I will admit.
It can be done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
You'd
think
have
the other
to make
secret
it.
sauce. I think the other secret sauce is let's see how long the creative brain trust can stay together because the person who I'll send credit to Andrew Stanton. Andrew
Yeah.
Stanton was the co-writer of the first. He was the main writer of the third. He's the main writer and director of this fifth one. Like the good ones are in his hands. Now I know Andrew has dabbled with live action. Where he's done John Carter. He's done Tomorrowland, where that's Brad Bird.
Yeah.
But how long you can keep Andrew Stanton around, or at least maybe Kenna Harris, who's written and done a few Pixar things, who's the co-writer of 5, can be the person that can steward and be passed it forward. Let's see how well, because like Marvel's having that trouble right now. Like, what do you do when the Russos go away and
Exactly.
things fail when the original creators get passed to somebody else? Diminishing returns. So Pixar is in that transition here of second generation people where like Pete Docter and Lee Unruh, the people you're talking about who made the OGs of Inside Out, we've passed them to people, but they've lost a little something. So if Pixar can hold on to that some way, somehow, and now I know a writer can write till they're 80 years old, but I don't know how old Andrew Stanton is, but let's see how long we have.
Yeah. Well, they'll probably pass it on to other writers. And
Oh, they will,
hopefully-
because it's a factory.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna go on forever, but I think eventually there will be a Toy Story film that'll just be okay, and then the fans will go in a meltdown mode, and then they'll just make another one, and then the next one will be better. So
Mhm.
like it'll just keep going through the cycle. But I mean, yeah, Toy Story, it's kind of like Star Wars. It was special as a trilogy, but at least it still feels special when you see it because there is that time in between films. What I'm wondering is, what are they going to do with Bonnie's age? Because she can't stay a little girl forever, and then
Yeah.
you can't have a
Can you
thing
do
where they
Toy
hand them
Story
off
3
to another
again?
kid.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
you
That's
don't
the
know what's
thing. I
gonna
don't
be
know
re-
what 6 looks like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you don't know what's going to be relevant at that
Yeah.
age in a few years.
Right.
And
Because
they
did we
drew
see?
off of what was going on now.
Yeah. Did we see AI coming in 2010 with Toy Story 3? I don't think we did.
No.
Maybe the iPad
No.
was easily around in 2010, but not to the level we're
No.
looking at in 5. So something
No.
new will come in as long as they're patient enough to wait for the right thing. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what they do with it. I mean, I think eventually they'll have to go to other toys with other owners or something like that.
I would hope so.
Because,
Yeah.
with Bonnie and everyone, like that's great. But then when they go to like new toys, new owners, you're gonna get the problem that you got with Halloween, where it's like, when they came out with Halloween 3, they're like, "Where's Michael Myers?" And they're
Yeah.
gonna come out a weird comparison, I know. But you go to Toy Story, and people are gonna be like, "Where's Buzz? Where's Woody?"
Mhm.
So eventually.
Which you're bringing up an excellent point, and that is at some point they're going to have to reboot the entire franchise
Yeah.
with a whole new cast of.
Mhm.
I don't even know if we'll call them toys anymore.
Yeah.
You
Like,
know,
is Buzz the
what's-
Woody of the future? Where like the old space action figure from the 80s, 90s? Is that the Howdy Doody Buddy Woody of now? Like, what does that even look like? Do you bring in the Marvel and Star Wars wells because they're under the same Disney roof from a licensing
Right.
standpoint? They brought in Barbie. Why not bring
Yeah.
in an Iron Man action figure? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know where they're going with this.
Well, maybe the next Woody will be Splinter.
That'd be something.
There's
Yeah.
a splinter in my boot. Yeah.
Yeah. But a toy as we're defining toy today may not be what kids want to play with or are playing
So
with
true.
Yeah.
5 years from now, 10
Yeah.
years from now.
Yeah, whole new ball of wax.
I
Yeah.
think luckily still kids still like toys and always will.
so.
But again, it's like this movie was trying to show. Like, yeah, they can have their devices, but as long as you limit that time, toys will
Mhm.
always be around. Because guess what? This will die within a few years. Yet this has been around since '97.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's what
Well,
makes it last a lot
yeah.
longer.
And that's the developmental appropriateness stuff that I think I linked too much in my review, but I know my wife is a preschool teacher. Like, she comes from a play-based standpoint of how to be an educator, where her preschool room is not iPads, it's blocks. And like, you'll always have the littles that will stay here. But the alarming thing is, you see an 8-year-old Bonnie doing what 12-year-olds do, which is get rid of their toys. Like,
Yeah.
for it to happen at 8 instead of 12 is alarming, because kids are getting leaped forward a little too fast
Yeah.
with some of these developmental changes with tech. And again, I don't know if they hammered that lesson strongly, but it's the transition we're talking about of what's next. We don't know, because the next thing is these kids that are doing this now, that are teenagers, are going to be the parents of whatever their children will be in 10 years, 15 years, where I don't know what this looks like when a Generation Z kid is a mom, and we're the old fuddy-duddies at Z and X's, and Alan Linda, I don't know where even you'll be, you're
Yeah,
the
but-
ancients of ancients, like
Yeah.
we're all like, I was marveling. I know this is an aside here, but like the whole Back to the Future idea of 30 years, like 30 years is 1996. And to me, 96 doesn't feel that long ago.
No.
It's a year after Toy Story, but at the same time, like cell phones, malls, no tech, like barely any email, like it was as different as 1955 was for Marty McFly, where
Yeah.
someday 2016 or 2026 is going to look as old as can be.
I
Yeah.
want to see the kids look at their parents and say, "You've had too much time on that device."
Right.
You know what? My
Yeah.
niece and nephew say that to me. They'll be like, "Put your phone down."
Mhm.
And I'm like, "Good for you." Yeah.
Right.
I probably because their daddy never puts his phone down. Like ever since he got the iPhone, it's just insane. Like
Yeah.
how much he doesn't put it down. But yeah, it's but I think that's all. We could talk about Toy Story 4, but I think we kind of said what we thought about 4
Yeah.
at this point. Yeah, again, it's like Toy Story 4 isn't a bad movie. It's just mean. Like it doesn't mean to be. It's just mean and repetitive and unnecessary.
Mhm.
And this one is much more like, oh, this is where you should naturally progress the story.
Yeah, well, it
And-
was grotesque. There was grotesqueness to that
Yeah.
Yeah.
movie. That
Mhm.
that wasn't.
There was
in
like a
the
Shining
others.
reference in it at
Oh,
one
yeah.
point. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was like. Yeah, this movie feels like a haunted house, and yeah, it almost like it didn't mean to, but it kind of felt like a middle finger. Like, oh, you're still watching Toy Story? Well, now he's lost toy. F off.
Mhm.
Go home.
Yeah.
Go back to work. But yeah, but guys, thank you so much. You're all friends in me. If you guys liked what you saw, or you guys like their material, all of their description is in the stuff below. You click see more info, all the links are there. But if you liked what you saw, remember to go to YPA Reviews on YouTube and on Instagram and X, although I might be ditching X. Oh, and Blue Sky, and YPA Reviews Chicago on TikTok. Yep, I'm still with TikTok. But until then, thank you very much, folks, and
Thank you.
we'll see you around. Maybe
All right.
maybe we'll see you at Andy's room.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
In Andy's
Bye.
room, that'd be weird. Okay. Chris Hansen will show up there.